You are listening to the Loida Lewis podcast hosted by Loida Nicholas Lewis. She's a trailblazing businesswoman, leader, philanthropist, and the widow of Reginald F. Lewis, the visionary leader who was the first African American to build $1 billion company. With unparalleled determination, Loida Lewis has not only excelled as a successful attorney, but also shaped a billion-dollar empire. Following the untimely passing of her husband, Reginald F. Lewis, she took the helm of TLC Beatrice, carving her legacy as a successful business leader. Be inspired and learn from her as she shares her wisdom, the secrets to her success in both business, in love, and in life. Let's live, love, laugh, and learn. With your host, Miss Loida Lewis.
Welcome to the Loida Lewis podcast. And today we have a special guest who is the Philippine Tax Whiz and who has a solution to the 3 trillion peso flood control scandal. And here he is, Mon Abrea.
Thank you, Tita Loida. It's an honor.
Yes. And for everyone else, he knows everything about what's happening in the Philippines now. So please tell everyone in the audience.
Well, apparently it started during the previous administration where they came up with another form or name for pork barrel. So the flood control may be a surprise to a lot of people, but remember, I was part of the Farmally investigation during COVID. Then prior to that...
Okay, formally, this was the scandal during the Duterte time where billions of money from the Department of Health was allocated to face mask and so many other things that were overpriced. And can you just tell how much what was the scandal?
The initial or the what triggered the Senate investigation, which was led then by Senator Dick Gordon, was the alleged overprice. But during the investigation, what we found out is it's sort of a money laundering, ghost delivery, because the Farmally apparently is a newly registered corporation, which is again, there are politicians behind it, but the investigation was halted because of the upcoming election. But what is clear there is the abuse of power and the money that they were during COVID. When people are dying, they actually amass a lot of money, and there are these Chinese businessmen who initially funded it. But when during the investigation, it was found out by Senator Gordon that even their suppliers are not actual companies. So they are already a dummy corporation with dummy suppliers. So we did sort of a family tree or supply chain. Yun, I think yung mas nakakadugo ng puso. So hindi pala overpriced lang. It was really a money laundering scheme where there face masks were just part of it. Pero ghost delivery na yung iba, and wala naman pala mga suppliers. When we audited it, there was no warehouse, there was no inventory, and yet they were able to amass billions of contract with the government through PSDBM.
Okay, billions of pesos in this Farmally scandal. And who were the people behind the Farmally, you said?
Well, the highest official that was mentioned and implicated was the one of the staff of Senator Bongo, Yusek Lao. So he was, before COVID, he was moved to PSDBM. So he headed the PSDBM. That's why during
is Philippine...
PSDBM is Procurement Service.
Procurement Service.
Of the Department of Budget and Management.
All right. So where the money is.
Yes.
And so, and who is Bongo, for those who do not know?
Well, the right hand of the president, the special assistant to the president who became senator during the presidency of Duterte.
Okay. So during the time, already huge billions of pesos have already been allocated. And so what happened to that investigation by Senator Gordon?
Well, it was halted. Unfortunately, Senator Gordon was so persistent and so sure that the Senator Bongo and the president was part of the scandal. So he included them in the report, which led to administration senators not signing the report. So there was no official cases filed after our investigation, after the Blue Ribbon hearing.
So that's what happened with billions of pesos going into the pockets of, well, the assistant of Bongo. I would not say the Senator Bongo himself. And who appointed Bongo in that experience was President Duterte. Everything was stopped and nothing happened. All right. So now we go back now. We go now. As you said, it's no longer called this
Pork barrel, no?
pork barrel. What is it called now?
Well, first is the confidential fund, then the budget insertion that created these ghost projects.
Okay, was the budget of 2025, 2026.
Yes.
Yes, because it starts in July 1, right? Okay, so this is the new pakulo. This is the new way of how to extract money, people's money, into private pockets. Okay, could you just tell about, what is this scandal for those who have not been following it?
Well, when it first came out, some senators and government officials actually asked for my help because I had the experience during the Farmally investigation. But of course, this time after the traumatic experience, the harassment I experienced during the Farmally investigation, and thanks to Harvard, my exit strategy, I left the country and went to Harvard Kennedy. I don't want to do it again and to cause pain to my mom. So I said, I will help, but I will no longer be part of the investigation. So what I found out is the flood control project started during the Duterte administration. So the Diskaya case is actually more than 10 billion because it started in 2017. Because the term started in 2016. Starting 2017, immediately after their first term, because the first year of the president is half a year. And normally, you only use the remaining budget. But the first budget that you will pass, what we call the National Expenditure Program, or the president's budget, is the following year. So all the 6 years of Duterte, apparently, the flood control projects were already there. And Diskaya was a consistent contractor. That's why Senator Bam was already talking about bid rigging. How come that every year and all the biggest projects you're getting, and we're just talking about one contractor. There are almost 100 contractors which are practically dominating or monopolizing the government procurements. And remember, Loida, the 20% of our GDP is government spending. So imagine
20%
trillions of pesos.
of the people's money of this entire budget is government spending, the expenditure, 20%.
So, and what is heartbreaking is it's not just ghost projects or whether 30 or 40% went to the Congress, the Senate, or whoever. It's not just stealing the money. There was no project at all. So, and this is what we saw now, that a lot of flooding continues or even escalated. More lives are being taken out, and while they continue to amass wealth. So with this flood control project, three things are exposed. First, that the budget, the process of approving the budget has been compromised through this budget insertion.
So there you go. The budget is approved, is proposed by Congress, and even there already, kawata na, as they say in Filipino. There already is amassing money on that first strands of fraud and stealing.
So from the very budget proposed by the executive branch, there's already intention to steal money. Second, in awarding the government projects, apparently the contractors are also the congressmen. So there you can see that from the proposed budget, which are already allocated to these contractors or congressmen, then the worst part is they do not actually fulfill or deliver what the government paid them for. And these are a handful of contractors, which unfortunately either the lawmakers themselves or campaign donors of our politicians, from the lowest to the highest position. So in short, it's really a business. They really made the government their business, including the political dynasties. They made our government their family business.
Yes, that's the tragedy in the Philippines, everyone. the government became the industry of our politicians, together with the connivance of the contractors. And did you say 20% of the budget?
20% of our GDP is government spending.
Government spending.
So we're talking about 5 to 6 trillion
Pesos.
pesos.
5 to 6 trillion pesos that should have gone to hospitals, educational, in schools, universities, health. That's the sad state of affairs in the Philippines.
And unfortunately, these are not all available funds. Some of them are loans. That's why we have a national debt at 17 trillion, which I expect to increase for 2026 budget.
All right. 17 trillion utang, loans from institutions all over the world. And so, who is going to pay these loans? Filipino population to the second, third, fourth generation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. But Mon, with all of this, knowing all of this, what are your solutions? Is there no solution? Should we just throw up our hands and say, ganyan na ang Pilipinas?
Well, that's the, I wouldn't say really good news, but the source of hope for me is my third realization.
What is it?
All of them did not pay taxes.
Aha!
The contractors, the lawmakers, the campaign donors, all those who are enjoying all this lavish lifestyle, they are all guilty of one thing: unexplained wealth. And the good thing is, we copied it in the US. Our tax code is inspired or copied from the US. This is subject to tax. And the Al Capone case in the 19th can very well remind us how the U.S. government struggled to send him to jail with all the gambling and the murder and crimes.
Prostitution.
But through tax evasion, he was sent to jail for 11 years. So that is also in our tax code. Any unexplained wealth is a prima facie tax evasion case, which means they can be sent to jail and they will be perpetually disqualified from ever assuming government posts. And that's what we are advocating now. Not just advocating, we are telling everyone, especially to our listeners or to those who will be able to watch it, your mayor, your congressman, even the highest position in the land. If they don't pay their taxes, that will be the end of their political career.
Okay. So there is a solution. Okay? Unexplained wealth and you don't pay taxes, you go to jail.
And banned from ever.
You are banned forever from occupying public office. So that is crucial. Very crucial. Again, repeat it. If you do not pay taxes,
if you don't
you
pay
have
taxes,
unexplained wealth.
Unexplained wealth in our tax code is a prima facie tax evasion case, which means you don't just pay the penalties, you don't just get imprisoned, you can be imposed of perpetual disqualification from appointment, employment, and election, any government post.
So why has it not happened in the Philippines?
Because the agency is also corrupt.
Okay, the agency meaning BIR?
And they are also politically, their investigation is also politically motivated. That's why the replacement of the commissioner now is hopefully a sign of hope that we can ask them to really run after the corrupt politicians, the contractors, the campaign donors, meaning the real big-time tax evaders, and stop harassing the MSMEs or our small taxpayers, because it's heartbreaking for MSMEs whose businesses will be padlocked just because they were not able to pay on time or not able to pay 10,000 pesos, 100,000 pesos, while trillions of pesos are being stolen.
Okay, again, here is our tax expert putting in front of us the disparity of tax collection. So if just by some magic wand, Mon Abrea, you become the president of the Philippines. It's like imaginary.
Agad.
Here is the fairy coming. And you would like to eliminate corruption in the Philippines. What would you do? Just in case it happens. I mean, as I said, it's fairy tale, but you are the tax expert and you just said to get them out of office, this permanent disqualification, jail, what would you do?
Well, the good news is I don't need to be president for this to happen. First is to abolish BAR and customs immediately.
Abolish BIR and customs. Well, President BBM, please listen to this podcast. Abolish BIR and customs. Why?
Because the two tax collection agency is the most corrupt agency. And instead of inspiring, encouraging honest taxpayers to pay their taxes, they are also discouraged and they are also not paying the right taxes because they know the big tax evaders get away with it. And the second one, because SAL and the Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth is a public document, so there is no prescription, Tita Loida. So all the mayors in the last 30, 40 years, I will sue them. Because if their SALN doesn't reflect their true
SALN is
wealth,
the statement of assets and liabilities that is public record. You have to write down what are your properties, what are your debts, all right? And that's public record. And if it says, it says a certain amount,
like 18 million, example.
like 18 million pesos, and you have several houses abroad,
lifestyle.
you have, your wife has jewelry and cars in your garage,
Parang
right?
kilala ko po, Tita Loida, kaninong SALN ba pinag-usapan?
No. I'm just telling to everybody.
Example. This is an
Okay?
example.
Your assets and
Hypothetical.
liabilities should be equal to what you have in your garage, in your home.
And
right?
Tita Loida, and your ITR. Because maybe they are
What
equal.
is ITR?
The income tax return. Maybe they are equal, but you still didn't pay taxes, you will still go to jail.
Okay.
So
All right.
honestly, that's why maybe people are asking, why is this guy still hopeful? Because we have the law. It's not just being implemented. And I said the last 30, 40 years. So I don't need to be president, or you don't need to wait for me to be president. As people of the Philippines, we can demand from our government to prosecute, to perpetually disqualify all these corrupt politicians. No prescription, Tita Loida.
Yes.
The moment,
No prescription, meaning to say even if it's been ages. But let's even just deal with this year. I mean, not this year. Yes, this year because it came out. Okay? President BBM said, mahiya naman kayo.
walang hiya. Paano yun?
Walang hiya. So it has to be the government agencies.
And I think also to strengthen institutions, especially the watchdogs, because apparently even the Commission on Audit is compromised. Imagine a commissioner also a contractor. I mean, it doesn't make sense. They are
The
supposed
commission,
the
commission
one
on-
of the commissioners in the Commission on Audit
On audit.
apparently is also a contractor.
Oh my God.
So
Okay.
I think we really need to make sure that our institutions are strengthened, that the watchdogs
is
are
this the
independent.
agency of
Supposed to audit the government spending.
okay.
Kaya
Yes.
wala na talagang checks and balances because everyone is on the take. So that's exactly why I'm saying maybe people hate taxes, but maybe that our tax laws can be weaponized against these corrupt politicians and can be our defender this time.
Okay. But, it's very hard when you are in power, head of BIR na, he was dismissed, head of customs, he was, because the temptation is right there in front of you. All you have to do is, sign something. So how do you avoid the temptation for an ordinary person, who may have, 1 million, maybe not even that, not to be corrupt? It's too hard.
Well, honestly, I will borrow it from the statement of former Vice President Leni Robredo. You have to make the system force you to do good. You cannot rely on the goodness or values of people who go to government. Anyone should be forced to be good and to do the right thing.
How do you do that? How do you force anyone? I mean, it's being offered to you. Million, 10 million, 100 million. Oh, how do you say, no, thank you?
Well, that's why the first thing in your imaginary presidency, I said, aside from abolishing the corrupt agency, is to send them to jail. Send the corrupt, because you need to show that we need to end the cycle of impunity. Until people realize that doing bad thing is not just bad, but has consequences, people will challenge it. People will defy it.
Okay.
They need to be afraid or to really avoid doing bad things because the consequences are far beyond their imagination.
And you're saying, don't start with the Muripudoy, meaning to say the small business, in the corner, or just doing, 5 million, 10
Correct.
billion pesos. So you would say, go to the top.
Correct. In fact, that was my criticism to the former commissioner. I was like telling publicly also in my interviews, stop the PR stunt. You keep on putting on the headline how many companies you filed tax evasion cases.
How many?
I mean, at least the Diskaya and the three engineers. But how many politicians are charged of tax evasion? None.
None.
And how many were sent to jail? None. So it's all PR stunt. So hopefully the new commissioner, if you're watching this, we are here to support you. But we want you to do your job. And your mandate is not just to assess and collect taxes from us. We're already paying taxes. Make sure that those in power will also be accountable.
Okay. So Al Capone was a gangster in the 1920s. And the FBI was able to I was able to find the accountant who had everything written out of the income that Al Capone, the gangster, had. And so they looked at his income tax and there was nowhere to be found. So that's why he went to jail. Now, in the Philippines, can you help an investigator or somebody we have a new Secretary of Justice? Finance.
Well, there's an acting Secretary of Justice.
Yes, acting Secretary. So,
but we have new Finance Secretary, former Special Assistant President Frederick Go, and then Secretary Ralph Recto is now the new Executive Secretary.
All right. So we have a new people retired.
They just exchanged position.
But some people were fired.
Retired, fired.
Okay. So what is your advice to them? How do they get documents where there's statement of asset and liabilities and their income tax and the amount of assets that they have that are not declared? How do you get that? How do you charge them with tax evasion?
Time and again we always say that probably the biggest loopholes in our system is it's not integrated. Even a driver of a congressman can own a luxury car or a penthouse in Rockwell, but the real owner is the congressman. But it is under the name of the driver or the security because it doesn't flag the system or there is no system in place in the first place. So I think that's the first thing. We need to make sure that the digitalization that the current administration is promoting will integrate and put data sharing among government agencies. So if Mon Abrea acquires a penthouse, but Mon Abrea only declares, let's say, 10 million pesos, but the penthouse is 60 million pesos, it should flag immediately the tax agency. Or if I keep buying stocks or buying other properties, a property holding is a record. That I know this because when we process or assess estate tax, the first thing that we do, we cannot talk to the dead person, but we ask for property holdings, where he was born, where he lived, and where he died. So for those who are watching, that's already a tip. In your estate managed planning, the government will only look for 3 places for property holdings: where you were born, where you lived, and where you died. So if you bought properties in a place that you've never been, maybe the government will never know because they do it manually. But if we can integrate the system, then property holdings, bank accounts, we lift the bank secrecy. It's only the politicians are saying, or our lawmakers are saying, it will be weaponized and used against politicians. You have used our laws against us ordinary citizens for the longest time. That's why you stay in power. So maybe this time, let's weaponize the law against corrupt politicians so that all of us will be protected. So
for the Congress in the Philippines, erase or amend or nullify the bank secrecy, because you cannot ask anybody, you cannot have the accounts
access to the bank
accounts without the permission of the person. So
or ask the Supreme Court, which is
you have to go all the way to the Supreme Court. And so therefore, especially during the time where Trillanes was asking ex-President Duterte, then President, okay, give us permission to look at your bank accounts. Nope, no permission.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I guess it's important to really make sure that our laws protect our people. And I think this is hopefully this is the tipping point that our people will realize that the power is in our hands, and all we need to do is also to be responsible. Because I keep saying this, especially to the students. I was invited to be a commencement speaker. I feel too old by FEU, so I shared with them that there are only two duties that you should do and be able to do to call yourself a responsible or good Filipino. First is that you pay your taxes. Second is to vote, elect, choose leaders first who pay their taxes. Who will spend our taxes judiciously. Dalawa lang. Bayad buwis at wag buwis buhay na boto. Bumoto ng matino, hindi yung mga siraulo na sinasayang oras natin. They're making government like what's this? A comedy show, comedy stunt, parang circus. So if the Congress will not lift the bank secrecy law, maybe we should also abolish Congress.
That's an idea. Abolish Congress. Okay. So now, how do you eliminate, as the Lenny Robredo had said, be forced to do good? How do you do that?
Well, that's why we say we need to uphold transparency. But transparency ends when accountability begins. Transparency ends when accountability begins. And you were asking how can the government use this SAL? And first is to make it public. Number two is the matching. If your mayor is living a lavish lifestyle with mansions, and that the salary of a mayor is not 1 million. The salary is less than 300,000. In fact, the salary of a congressman and senator are the same, 248,000 pesos. I'm not saying it's small, but it's very small if you compare it to their lavish lifestyle. They live like royal families. They are there to serve us. So, again, not to take revenge, but maybe to end as well political dynasty. Why are they all spending all their time and resources to stay in power? Maybe that's the question that we should all ask.
Well, the Constitution prohibits dynasty, but up to now, Congress has not passed the provisions of what does dynasty mean.
Correct.
And
so
how
without
can it
that
stop?
implementing our law.
So our Congress itself is deficient.
And it will also be much difficult for Senate because Senate is composed of siblings.
That's right.
Yeah, so
Yes,
unfortunately,
yes.
Senate is also becoming a circus. You can see them on their social media, on their interviews, literally bashing each other. So it's a waste of time and resources. Remember, we are paying their salaries.
So what is this idea of so that there is less corruption, or they are prohibited from being corrupt? The IRS, meaning to say the BIR,
Yes.
the Bureau of
Internal
Revenue. How do you eliminate, the temptation of, how much do you owe?
Yeah.
Hati tayo. Again, let's divide. Okay, you can pay only. How do you eliminate that?
Well, number one, the discretionary power of any government official exists because everything is still manual. So if we can simplify the process but make it automated, to automate it, but at the same time to use AI and blockchain technology so that they cannot compromise or hack it to the point that it will conceal their corrupt practices or illegal deeds. But at the same time to really penalize those who are violating it. Because I think that Loida, since I was born, I don't know anyone who was really sent to jail because or stayed in jail because as far as I can recall, we have ERAP but was pardoned. GMA was also pardoned after getting sick. So technically, none of those who were accused or prosecuted of plunder or graft and corruption that really stayed in the jail and prevented from going back to public service. All of them are still in public offices.
Yes. One administration puts them to jail. The
Then the
next
next one
administration frees them
will pardon.
and pardons them, and so they can go back.
So maybe that will have to also consider that, to remove the power to pardon, especially if political personality. So I think that's the only way we can hold our leaders accountable. But again, let's not undermine the power of our citizens. To speak truth to power, to hold them accountable, is to be responsible citizens as well, to be aware of what's happening around us, and not to patronize politicians. Like, for instance, we have now Mayor Vico, very ideal, very, let's say, a very good example.
The mayor of
Pasig.
Pasig.
But let's not put him in a pedestal, because it is decision to serve. We should acknowledge it, but not to the point that we lord him or we bow to him.
Well, I think it's only because they are so rare.
Okay.
Okay, a very honest politician who does serve the people are very rare. And therefore, because he's a rare individuals, in the Philippines, lahat magnanakaw, Armin. Majority are, not being accountable. That's why any mayor who is accountable, who works with service and transparency, become, we laud them. Okay, how about you're saying what do you call it now?
Blockchain.
Blockchain. Can
Yeah.
you just explain to the audience?
Yeah. Well, blockchain is that they cannot tamper or alter it, because that's the problem. They can literally manipulate, change their salient, change the reports, or make it disappear. With the blockchain technology, human intervention is not possible anymore. But again, provided that from simplifying the processes, making it transparent, that the integrity of the system is not compromised. Because it's like the automation of our election. If the provider is compromised, then everything else is compromised. So we have to make sure from the start to the end that it's not just well taught, but it's really hack-free or corrupt-free, to make sure that it will really serve our people.
All right, so that's the problem, because it is computer made by men.
Yes.
And so it's possible if the person who's making it will be interfered by, cybersecurity. I've heard of that. So that's one problem that has also to be solved. Once we automate
True.
the filing of taxes, and as you said, the coordination
Everything,
of
yeah.
all government agencies, and that's a huge
Well,
endeavor.
actually, nasa batasan natin yan, we have ease of doing business that mandates automation of government services. As I have said, we have all the laws, but the problem is the implementation. And primarily because as citizens, we refuse to be accountable, responsible for the people we put in position or in power. So again, maybe this is also a reminder to all of us. This year, we went to more than 30 countries promoting the Philippines as an investment destination. And every time I'm asked about corruption, I always tell them, let me remind you that we are more than 118 million Filipinos, and more than 10 million are around the world. But those in the Philippines, at least 115 million. Generally, we are all honest and hardworking. There are only less than 300 congressmen, or probably there are only less than 300 who are corrupt. The rest generally are honest, hardworking. But it's also a reminder to us that being good is not enough. We need to make sure we acquire enough resources and enough influence to correct the bad, or to stop bad people from controlling government or compromising the system. I think, Tita Loida, that's where we failed. We either were afraid, or we did not speak hard enough for us to be heard, that we allowed these bad guys, whose voices are louder because of their platform or their money, to overpower us. When in fact, there are a handful of them. Mas marami tayong matitinong Pilipino.
Okay, unfortunately, because we are, suffrage is the secret power of a citizen, 40 million or 40% of our people are poor. Okay? Maybe even 60%. Okay. So, what happens during election? They buy votes. So, it's not so much that we don't want good governance. It's that our people are poor. We're 115 million now. 40% during a poll said pobre kami. We are poor. So what do they do when they're offer, a month's salary for one vote? So that's not saying that, it should not happen. It should not be, there should not be vote buying. But part of the reason is that we are poor, not because
but
we
maybe
want bad people to rule us.
That's something we should pray about or think how we can change it. Not necessarily deprive the poor from voting, but find a way that money will not get into the way.
Well, you said something about not our small business. They are the life of a town or of a barrio. Okay, and you have a suggestion that for a businessman or karinderya in the market, that they should not be paying taxes if their income is a certain amount.
Yeah.
What was that suggestion you
Well,
gave?
I keep saying this since I finished Harvard, that maybe the reason why we remain to be a third world country is more of mentality rather than financial or potential that we have. So maybe our government should allow us to earn 1 million without paying taxes.
1 million pesos. All
That's
right.
not big. I mean,
It's not big.
so imagine if anybody can do business as long as it doesn't exceed 1 million. Anybody who receives salary as long as it doesn't exceed 1 million, the government should not take any part of it.
Okay.
And those of us who earn more, I will include myself, humbly, then we will share.
All right. So that's one of the solution that Filipinos who are earning
Less than 1 million.
less than 1 million, they don't have to pay taxes. And so what will that do? It will spread the monies that they will give to the government. It is going to be spread to the rest of the people in that barrio, in that town, in that locality. And so maybe with that, people
Yes.
can have independent mind.
Actually, Tita Loida, I have also another suggestion, which I shared with the Senate already, that 20% of our GDP is government spending. I said at least 20% or 25% of government contracts should be given to the small businesses. Let the small karinderya be the caterer of the city hall. Let instead of getting the agency of the mayor or the politicians, let the cooperatives or small businesses of render services clean our city halls or our Senate buildings and all. Maybe that will promote inclusive growth because you make them earn a living. Because we keep saying 99.6% of our entities are MSMEs, the backbone of our economy. But we don't give them money. We only acknowledge them as the backbone. But we
extract money.
But we give them a heavy load. Kaya nakuba na yung backbone because we keep giving them a heavy load. So much compliance requirement from BIR, audit of BIR, taxes to pay to LGU and BIR. Enough. Give them some space. Give them some time to grow. And
Okay.
maybe that will make us a first world country.
Right. Okay, that's an excellent idea. For those in business who have a revenue or income of 1 million, no need to pay taxes. That's excellent.
That's a suggestion. We're not making a pronouncement.
No.
People might start clapping their yes.
No.
Only at Loida in his podcast.
No. That's excellent. Now, Mon, if you don't mind, there are some questions from the audience.
Of course.
All right. Now, this is from Mel O. It's quite rare to see someone this passionate about taxes. What is your background and how did you end up in this line of work? And where does the foundation of your principles come from? Wow, bigat niyan. That's from Mel O.
Si Melon yan. Melo. First, I did not like taxes when I was studying it. I actually did not like my course. Our family business went bankrupt when I was about to graduate in high school. But I saw how my dad worked so hard that I also saw how people drag him down to bankruptcy with all the vices. He has friends in BIR and customs. Naglalagay din siya. I mean, this kind of relationship and that my father thought was helping him. But in the end, it ruined him and our family business. So I felt mad that from a decent, not lavish lifestyle, from a very decent and good home environment, we had to move to squatters area. So when I was about to graduate from high school, I had to face one of the most difficult decision or experience, which is to sell our house. Otherwise, pag-ibig will take it from us. The good thing is I'm really good in math, so I was able to do the some math that if we can restructure it, we can prolong again the payment, but in the meantime, look for a buyer na, and the buyer will assume the liability. So I think I was really smart when I was a kid. No, what I'm saying is I'm really good in math, but the accounting as a course was also because of poverty. So my mom looked for scholarship everywhere to make sure I will go to college. So we I moved to squatters area. It's the I live beside Tum. It's behind North Cemetery. So literally nicho ang kapitbahay ko. And I saw poverty, and coming from malaking bahay, masaganang buhay, it was really devastating to see what poverty is all about. And anyone who talks about poverty but never live in it don't know what they're talking about or what they're saying. Doon talaga isipin mo sa kukuha ng pagkain. Paano ka papasok sa eskwela? And when my mom moved there as well, imagine all of us are well off. Then all of a sudden, all of us are in the squatters area. My mom was selling cigarette and beer just to give us baon. So life was so hard. So anyway, going back dun sa he has to choose the scholarship. So I took all the entrance exam. I didn't pass the accountancy in UP because it's a quota course, but I passed nutrition. I told my mom, what will I do with nutrition? I'm not even healthy. So but I mean, she wanted anything to do with business. My dad wanted me to be a lawyer. So I took legal management or philosophy. I took philosophy in San Beda. So I passed. But the only scholarship that my mom secured was from the government, CHED. But the CHED, for some reason, choosy. They have a prescribed course. So on the day of the enrollment, they don't want to enroll me. So if I don't get to enroll, I cannot enroll anymore. It will be too late for all the other universities. So the only condition is I need to transfer to accountancy on the day of the enrollment. You know how heartbreaking it is for someone who doesn't even know what to do or what course to take. And now you ask him to move just because you cannot afford to pay the tuition fee. So I changed my course. I made it accountancy. That's the reason why I studied accounting. Then I don't have enough money to even bring myself to school. Sometimes I would walk from Blumentritt to Recto. Of course, may LRT. But sometimes even pang LRT, wala. Imagine how mura-mura ng LRT. And people may not realize that I went through that. Why? Because I'm not somebody who will talk about hardship to somebody, even on social media. And maybe that's the reason why I felt life is so hard. Being poor is mahirap maging mahirap. And I realized that the system made it even worse. Our family business would have not been bankrupt if it was managed properly, if there was transparency, if my dad paid taxes and so on and so forth. But during the time that everything was taken away, even the government was not able to help us because all our neighbors are poor as well. I remember there was even an announcement one day. The barangay hall was calling all the snatchers. Tawag daw ni chairman. I was like, so may classification pala ng ano dito, racket. So lahat ng snatchers tawag ni chairman. So to my mind, this is like not just the lowest point in my life. This is the darkest. Lahat ng drug addict, snatcher, walang trabaho, walang pera, mahirap. Sino yung kasama mo? Sino yung mga, you live with them. And I never felt ashamed or feel bad about the fact that I was there or that the fact that I was living with there. But I felt bad for my mom because I don't think she deserved it. So I promised myself that I'll do everything. To give a better life. I studied every day. I don't like library. I go to library because I don't need to buy books. Imagine, I don't like my course. I don't like the life that we had. But I became number one this lister because I was so afraid that I cannot help my family get out of poverty. And I saw how other people are take their lives for granted. So parang sa akin, I want to prove to the world that doing good pays off. Na, sige, the government may not help us, but we will help ourselves. Hindi tayo magnanakaw, hindi tayo magsisinungaling. Why? Because even during the hardest time, my mom would always remind us, never be disrespectful. Don't lie. Don't get what is not yours. Wala na nga kaming pera, wala na kaming pagkain, but you will have to still do what is right. So, I want also to show my mom na I followed you, sinunod kita, and gumanda ang buhay natin because you actually taught me how to do it. Then, for some reason, maybe because I was so afraid that I will hurt my mom, na parang kahit may opportunity to take advantage or get something a little more, wag na lang magalit si mami. Kasi parang sobra na siya nasaktan na I don't want to add pain to her. Yun lang yung pumasok sa isip ko. Unfortunately, I fell in love and my mom didn't like the person who made me happy for a while. I cannot go into the details because some people may know or know about it. But I promise na I will not hurt my mom again and I will continue to do the right thing and I want to make my mom proud, to make sure that every day I will strive harder to make my mom happy and proud of everything that I'll do. So when I got brokenhearted, my mom again was the one who saved me because I started drinking, I stopped working, and my mom said, I'm tired of praying to help you, that God will give you more strength. Sabi niya, I just want you to be happy. You know, that day, I went to the church, I just started crying. Tapos sabi ko, Lord, give me another chance if you still want me to try. Give me another chance. I will do everything. I will submit myself. I will do everything that is right. Hindi ko nasasaktan ng mom ko. Hindi ako gagawa ng kahit anong mali. Kahit mahirapan ako, just give me another chance. Tapos nagbiro ako. Well, honestly, hindi biro. Sabi ko, give me 1 million to know so that I know that you're giving me a chance. You know, that year, I met Dr. Estanislao, the former finance secretary. We met, he invited me to a retreat. I'm not saying I'm a saint. Far from being a saint. Then he invited me to join the good governance advocacy. And the next thing I know, I am already in BAR studying the corruption. That was in 2009. Now people know that I went to BAR to study corruption. It was not a job. It was a mission to study corruption. Then I started realizing how even corrupt the system is. Why so many people are poor. Why it's hard to do business because of all this corruption. After 2 years, I decided to leave and I wanted to go to Harvard because that was the promise of the mission that I can go to Harvard. But because I left, the government cannot send me to Harvard. Then I started getting death threats, harassment, and all. There was one day that I couldn't tell my mom what, even the same during Farmali, I got harassment and all. But I couldn't tell it to my mom because I don't want her to get worried and all. Alam mo yung dumapa ka na lang and I was praying the rosary. Natapos ko yung 3 misteryos. Sobrang takot ko. Then I just pray na to protect my mom. So yun, sa tingin ko, I wouldn't say I am a very righteous person. But I think I'm just afraid that I'll be the cause of my mom's pain. And I think doing the right thing makes my mom happy. Going to Harvard made my mom so worried. But when she saw me in my Harvard toga, I saw how happy she was. Kumikinang yung mata niya. When I first brought her to Times Square, I don't think she has an idea what Times Square is because hindi naman ano si Mami traveler eh. Then when I told her about it, sabi ko, Mom, we should have a picture here. Many people would die to be in Times Square. Hindi ko lang masabi sa kanya, natin nasa squatter tayo to Times Square. We should have a picture. Sabi niya, sige, let's have a picture. So everywhere we go, picture with my mom makes me so happy. That's why people are telling me, yabang mo naman, pinupost mo lahat ng biyahe mo. Before, it's only if I'm with my mom. Kasi ayoko mabura siya. Gusto ko maabang buhay. Araw-araw na kaya ko, I'll make my mom happy. So, I guess where I am right now is driven by all the pains, but at the same time, the gratitude and love for my mom. And I think the world will be a better place if all sons and daughters will just do the same thing. Don't cause pain to your parents or don't hurt your parents. I did once. I don't want to do it anymore.
Kakaiyak naman. Kakaiyak naman, Mon.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. It's very nice. It is the love of a son to his mother. And for all those sons and daughters of a mother who sacrificed a lot, please listen to what Mon has said. Okay? And live your life so that your mother and father will be so proud of you. Salamat. Thank you for that, Mon. All right. We go back to the questions from the listeners. From the listeners. Okay. This is from Gina C. I'm so sick of paying our taxes in the Philippines, knowing that it rarely ever goes to help our countrymen. Is there a way for the public to track where our taxes will go even before corrupt officials get access to it? Medyo mahirap.
Well, I think number one, it's we should be reminded it's really our civic duty to pay taxes, and I know it's not easy. Number two, as to the access where the taxes go, I think there's already a budget tracker. We can already access it, but what we are proposing is yun na nga, yung through the use of blockchain and AI, so that yung real time na progress ng mga projects para wala nang ghost projects. And even the unprogrammed funds will not exist or yung mga confidential funds. I think yan yung dapat ma-institutionalize. And when I say institutionalize, we if we have to legislate it, let's do that. Otherwise, we will always be at the mercy of those in power, which should not be the case because our taxes is the lifeblood of the government. Therefore, we fund our government. So we have the right.
Okay. So this is my own question. It seems very difficult. Is there any other country that has done this? Is this only just an idea that you're proposing, but it has never been implemented in any other country?
Well, in other countries, they are more, I would say, there are more information available in terms of how the budget are being, or how the taxpayers' money are being spent. The problem is if it becomes too technical and there are many line items at what happened to this flood control projects na apparently sa budget pa lang, cut and paste na yung mga line items. So, syempre pag masyadong madami, who would really scroll or browse it, diba? But again, the challenge there is to make it more visually appealing and understandable to the masa para mas makita natin. Tulad ngayon, kung mas malaki ang budget ng edukasyon, then dapat ma-highlight talaga na ilang trillion yung napunta sa education, and from the education, saan napunta at saan ginamit yung budget ng education.
So
Classroom ba?
So that could be done on the computer?
Yes, it can be done online na para accessible sa lahat. But again, like in South Korea, the way they introduce taxes is not with the obligation, but with the implementation of the program. So pinapakita nila where their taxes are going. I think in the Philippines yun yung problem. Parang it's like a blind faith na talagang we just hope that the government will use our taxes properly and honestly. That's wrong. The government should make us know, understand, and see where the taxes are really going. Tapos yun na nga, may tracker talaga na if possible, real-time na ilan ang ongoing flood control project, sino ang contractor, ano ang progress. I mean, that should be available. Kasi at least sa taxes, sa economic data, meron tayong mga sites niyan that real-time you can really see. So I guess it's something that can be done for the Philippines.
All right. Well, something to be seen. Well, this is a personal question from Angel N. What is your opinion on Heart Evangelista? And do you believe her wealth is self-made?
Well, honestly, the claim of self-made is nagbayad ba siya ng tax? Kasi kung self-made, tas di naman din siya nagbayad ng tax. Because I don't remember Heart Evangelista being in the top taxpayer. So I would answer based on what I understand and my field, which is sa taxes. Because, most of the top taxpayers na celebrities, we handle their taxes. So I'm not familiar with Heart. So ang alam ko lang, which I will pose as a question now, top taxpayer ba si Heart Evangelista? Because I know Daniel Padilla, Catherine Bernardo, James Reid, Nadine Lustre, Bea Binene, the big stars. I know how much taxes they paid because we are the one who filed it. But for Heart Evangelista, I am actually my guess is as good as yours.
Okay, that's very interesting that you are filing the taxes. Is this the Asian Consulting Group?
Yes. Actually, Tita Loida, the Asian Consulting Group was established to fund the advocacy. Kasi nga parang feeling ko, growing up kasi nabully ako, then we live in the squatters, nabully ka na naman. Sa school, nabully ka kasi maliit ka, pangu ka, hindi ka makapag-English. I only learned to speak English when I was in college. Kasi Tagalog na Tagalog talaga kami. Mga pinanonood sa bahay, mga Inday Badiday. Kasi nga yung lola ko, yung yaya namin, may yaya ako nung bata. So parang Tagalog talaga. So hindi po ako makapag-English. Hindi rin ako nagbabasa ng English book except yung sa school. At hindi ako nanonood ng foreign films, so Tagalog talaga. So the advocacy is like close to my heart kasi feeling ko si BIR and government in most cases bully. So I wanted to empower our kababayan para hindi nila ma-experience yung dinanas ko na nung naghirap kami, I was not able to get any help. Nabully ka pa ng mga mas malakas ang boses, mas may kapangyarihan. So when we started in Loida, even my own profession discriminated me. Kasi una kong libro, parang mali-mali daw English, hindi maganda, etc. And some were saying I was a voice in the wilderness, but it did not stop me because the more that they prove that even the good people can be a bully to those who are not yet as good as them. Because I was starting. What do you expect from me? So, the first book, ako ang writer, ako editor, ako lahat. Sige, walang budget eh. So, the Asian Consulting Group, until now, it continues to fund our advocacy. It has helped maybe more than 1 million MSMEs. We did a nationwide tax roadshow going from one barangay, one school, one community.
And the name of that book is? The first book.
The first book. VAT ganon. Bakit ako may tax?
VAT ganon.
VAT ganon.
Alright.
So, kasi masa talaga eh. And again, the objective is to empower the powerless, to give voice to the voiceless, so that they will not be bullied. Because I know the feeling ng binubully. And I think people can relate. Most of our taxpayers feel that. They feel that the system is bullying them. The government is bullying them, forcing them to pay more taxes and penalties. While those in power, they're not even paying their taxes. So, Tita Loida, ACG, si Tax Whiz, si Mon Abrea nandito because we have the same story. Alam ko yung pinagdaanan nyo and mahirap. So, we'll help you. That's why we use the Tax Whiz. Diba? So, the next book which became bestseller from National Bookstore hanggang sa lahat na ng platform available, got a question about taxes, ask the Tax Whiz.
Okay, that's the second book.
And that became bestseller. Thanks also to our former Secretary Ramon Lopez because he coined the Tax Whiz. of course, unang
He
na-publish
is called Tax Whiz, by the way, everybody.
and it started actually from a Fisher story by Manila Bulletin business editor Gina Abuyuan. So she passed away already. She called me Whiz Kid, telling my story kasi nga galing sa hirap, di makapag-English, nagsanbeda and all. Then nung nabasa ni Secretary Mon Lopez, sabi niya, walang siseryoso sa'yo sa Wizkid. Let's use Tax Whiz. Then it started. Then of course, let's not forget our friend Boy Abunda, who first gave me an exclusive interview on TV. Yun na, nagdire-diretso na. So, ang daming anghel na dumating. And I think that gave me more platform and more opportunity to help people. Kasi nga maraming bully. Dapat magtulungan tayo para we will not be deprived of opportunities just because there are bully or blocking the way or who will discourage us.
Very good. All right. Now we have a limited question. From Edwin J. Who among our current of public officials can you say you would 100% trust in handling public funds and why?
First is my favorite Harvard schoolmate, si Lenny Robredo. Because I saw firsthand how simple and how competent, how honest, and how hardworking. Yun, hindi mo mauunahan, maagang pumapasok. Minsan wala pang breakfast kaya dumadaan pa kami sa Dunkin' Donuts, nag-ice coffee yun. Yung pinakamalaki para daw dire-diretso siya sa trabaho. He's very dedicated, very simple. And I knew her already nung vice president siya, but I didn't have that much encounter until she went to Harvard.
And also she did not have confidential funds
No
when she was vice
confidential
president.
funds, oo. Ayokong sabihin yung salin niya, pero mas mataas yung salin sa akin. So, very simple talaga si ma'am. And all the kids as well, mga scholars and all. So,
All her three girls.
so I think we need public servants who are like that. Competent, hindi lang mabait, pero competent at hardworking. Kasi mahirap yung mabait, wala namang alam. Mahirap naman yung maraming alam, hindi naman mabait. So, I think we need both. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Now, this one. From Jerry S. If the USA removes personal tax and applies VAT, will it work for the American economy? Well, I don't know whether you can answer that question.
For, which one?
If
To
the
remove?
United States have no more personal tax and but applies VAT, will it work for the American economy?
Well, honestly, for first world country, collecting more consumption tax is not ideal. Talagang dapat personal tax. Kasi dahil nga first world, meaning more, higher yung income. The model where the government should rely on VAT is actually for developing countries like the Philippines. Which is ironic kasi in the Philippines, more than 60% pa rin is income tax. And more than 83% of our personal income tax galing sa empleyado. Kaya medyo talagang hindi patas. But again, in terms of as a country, in the US, personal income tax or income tax pa rin talaga. Kasi nga, first world country eh. Ang VAT or consumption tax pang developing country.
Okay.
Because that's how you make it fair sa consumption, purchasing power na lang. So yung mas mayaman, maraming gagastusin. So in a developing country, matatax mo sila because they will be buying more. Unlike sa first world country, dapat yung source talaga yung income nila because they are mas maraming rich.
Okay. And so, I want you to know, to tell everyone that you did not study only in Harvard. Where else did you study?
Actually, may backstory. Someone bullied me in UK and undermined me being Filipino. So I said, okay, I'll go to Oxford. So from Harvard, I went to Oxford. Then someone questioned that I am not a lawyer. So I went to Duke and took the executive program for tax policy. So next time na may mambubuli sa akin, mag-aaral ulit ako. So that's the way I respond. Hindi na ako yung napipikon or nasasaktan. So I respond in a way na it will improve me, make me a better person. So I mean, so hindi po ako lawyer, but now I can say as a global tax policy expert, I studied at the Duke Sanford School of Public Policy.
Okay. Do you have anything to plug to our audience in terms of for them to know?
Well, all our books are available sa Amazon Kindle. In the Philippines, it's available in the online platforms. And I just want to brag that the first series of the Reimagining the World Without Corruption is currently displayed at the U.S. Library of Congress.
In Washington, D.C.
In Washington, D.C. So this is, yes, about corruption, but it's not just about the Philippines. It's about the failures, the success, the stories of all the anti-corruption initiatives. Why until now there's still corruption, or why does it seem that they become more powerful? Parang mas nawawalan ng takot at delikadesa yung mga nagigilty. So you will see your role. Sino ka ba doon? Enabler ka ba? Supporter ka ba? Because they as they say, it's a two-way street. Corruption will not happen if nobody will tolerate or nobody will bribe. So I think the book also taught me that it's not enough that you don't do wrong things. That is, I think, sinasabi natin na sin of commission and omission. So pag hindi ka gumawa ng masama, wala kang sin of commission. Pero pagka hindi mo ginawa yung tama, hindi ka nagsalita, na nahimik ka, that's sin of omission. And I think that's one thing that we need more power, more courage to help our people realize that we have, each of us has a role to play. And kung ikaw yung nabubuli, your first role is to save yourself. Love yourself, protect yourself. Para makatulong ka din dun sa posibleng mabuli din. So ako, I would say na hindi ako biktima, pero ako ang produkto ng bad system, ng corruption, and I chose to be a better person kesa sa to enjoy a lavish lifestyle or to use my tax knowledge to evade taxes. So hindi. I chose to help people pay the right taxes. I chose to help our government come up with a better tax policy. And I hope we will all choose to do the right thing always, so that we can reimagine a world without corruption, without climate change, and without poverty. Mahirap po talagang maging mahirap. So hindi sapat na kaawaan natin sila. Marami sa kanila, they don't even see the day after. Ang iniisip lang nila yung now. And I experienced that. Kwento ko ulit, Tita Loida, one of my best friends na binisita namin nung birthday ko sa Japan. So, one of my favorite places talaga is Tokyo. So, one of my best friends, naging kaibigan ko siya sa squatter. So, ngayon, maganda na yung buhay nila. May anak na siya. Ako din ng ninong sa Tokyo na siya nakatira. 5 piso yung champurado, bibili kami. Ang pangalan ng tindahan, Kila Kalabaw. So, tatakbo kami doon kasi para mainit pag umaga. 5 piso lang yung pera namin. Nasa supot siya. Tigisa kaming side butas. Tapos paunahan kami kasi pag mabagal ka, wala ka na makakain. So, alam mo, parehas kami naluluha pag naalala namin yun. But that shows that if you really work hard, do the right thing, ang hirap ng pinagdaanan niya. But he has now a good life and his son is enjoying it. At swerte niya, diba? Ako ninong niya. So, the point is, it pays off to be good. And sana yun yung maging goal natin. Mm-hmm. To paying it forward is don't just pity them. Find a way to share more opportunities. You are not obliged to take them out of poverty. But it's a sin of omission not to take that opportunity or any instance wherein you can give them more hope and you can give them more chances of getting out of poverty. Same with the parents. I think wala naman sa Bible na obligasyon natin tulungan yung mga magulang natin. Pero I think because of love, I think we should really make sure that our parents, every hour of their remaining lives, that they'll be happy and comfortable. Because that's what they did when we were born.
When you were growing up. All right, there you heard it from Mon Abrea of Asian Consulting Group and a fighter for the Filipino. Salamat po. Thank you, Mon.
Salamat din po.
Yes, so this is the Loida Lewis podcast. Let's live, love, laugh, and learn together.
Hala, mapapalitan mo na yung magpakailanman. Sa dami na niluha ako. Ano masasabi ni Mel Chanco?
The Loida Lewis Podcast, hosted by Loida Lewis, is produced by the creators of Over a Glass or Two, Jesse and JV. Executive produced by Laura Nicholas Olace. Rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for a chance to be featured on a future episode. Have a question for Miss Loida? Just email us on askloidalewis@gmail.com. Your question might make its way to a future episode. Subscribe on all major platforms to never miss a beat. Thank you for listening to the Loida Lewis Podcast. Let's live, love, laugh, and learn together